Hi, this is Nanette Hosenfeld with the Great Basin Smoke Dispersion Briefing for Monday, June 3rd, 2019. Looking at precipitation over the past 7 days, you can see precipitation has been at or above normal across almost the entire Great Basin over the past week. Looking back at the past 14 days, it's been even wetter, with the majority of the area over 110-125% of normal. So really abnormally a lot of precipitation across the area. I thought it'd be interesting to throw our snow cover map in here. You can see the image on the right is our current snow cover as of yesterday. And there's still quite a bit of snow across the mountains of central Idaho. You can see across the Uintas and the Wasatch Range in Utah, quite a bit of snow and a pretty significant snowpack still in place across the Sierra Nevada. This is quite different from last year, which is the image on the left, where there was hardly any snow cover on the state at all. So still a lot of snow up in the mountains that we don't typically see this late in the year. As far as fire activity, the majority of the fires across the Great Basin are prescribed fires. There are a few smaller fires across the area. Looking at ERCs, unsurprisingly, they are all below the 50th percentile, at least for the stations that reported yesterday. And we'll look at those charts in a minute, but ERCs are well below normal for the time of year. Just looking at a couple of places across the southern part of the Great Basin, you can see ERCs are far below what we typically see this time of year. In some places we're at late February, early March normal levels. So ERCs have quite a ways to go before we even get to normal. As far as live fuel moisture, again, the sagebrush samples that we're looking at across the majority of the area are well above normal. You can see this, the muskrat in northwestern Utah and AC in southwestern Utah are pretty well above normal. Further west into Nevada, you can see that sagebrush sample is a little closer to normal. The satellite this morning shows some high pressure off to the eastern part of the Great Basin with a low pressure system to our southwest. For today, we are looking at good to excellent mixing across the area with that weather system in place overhead. We will have pretty strong transport winds across the western and southwestern parts of the Great Basin and really good mixing heights everywhere. Moving into Tuesday, we do see a little bit of high pressure ridging moving into the area, which will decrease those ventilation indices somewhat. You can see those mixing transport winds are pretty low across the majority of the Great Basin, with the exception of the southern part of the area. But our mixing heights are pretty strong, and so we will see some decent mixing on Tuesday. As we move into Wednesday, we continue to see that short ridge of high pressure in place. And again, we will see mainly good to excellent mixing across the area, though some areas will see some port air. And just looking at that in more detail, you can see those pretty strong transport winds across the western part of the Great Basin, pretty light across the east, but again, the mixing heights are pretty good across the area. So looking at the Utah Forecast Clearing Index for the next 3 days, you can see that we'll see really excellent mixing across the eastern areas with a little bit of a decrease moving west. Over the next 3 days, not too much precipitation is expected across the area, a little drier than what we've seen over the past few days. So we move into Thursday, we start to see winds increase ahead of another system that will move through the area. And with those increasing winds, the ventilation indices will be good to excellent across the entire area. Moving into Friday, again, we'll have pretty strong transport winds as that system moves to our north, leading to another day of good to excellent mixing. On Saturday, we'll see good to excellent mixing again as that weather system makes its way across the northern part of the Great Basin, bringing us some pretty strong transport winds. And then finally on Sunday, we'll see another day of good to excellent mixing with those strong transport winds in place. In the 4 to 5 day period, we could see some additional precipitation accumulation across the northern part of the area with that low pressure system that's expected to move through to the north. Looking at the 7-day fire potential forecast, you can see we're expecting green through the remainder of the week. We're not looking at any real big warm-ups with that weather system expected to move through the northern part of the area. The 8 to 14 day period, the Climate Prediction Center is calling for a period of warmer than normal temperatures, so that would be quite different from what we've seen so far this spring. And as far as precipitation, a little drier across the west, but remaining wet across portions of eastern Utah and southeastern Idaho. So that's it. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact us. Our information is on the screen, and you can also find us on Twitter. Thanks.